My phone pinged as I was signing Noah out of daycare. I glanced at the screen, expecting a routine message from Jason about dinner plans. Moving to Spain with Ashley. I've transferred our savings to my private account. Good luck paying rent. My hands froze mid-signature. Noah tugged at my sleeve, oblivious to how our lives had just imploded. Mommy, did you bring my dinosaur snacks today? I forced a smile, completed the sign-out sheet, and typed a response while my mind screamed in disbelief. Thanks for the update. 3 words that masked the hurricane of emotions threatening to overwhelm me. Ashley was his administrative assistant. Our savings represented 9 years of careful planning. The rent on our apartment was due in 3 days, $2,530. My name is Melissa. 32 years old, mother to 4-year-old Noah, and apparently soon-to-be ex-wife of Jason, who had just abandoned us with the casual cruelty of a text message. At home, I tucked Noah in front of his favorite cartoon while I called the bank. The representative confirmed my worst fears. Jason had transferred the entire balance, $48,920, from our joint savings to an account under his name only. Since both our names were on the joint account, there was nothing they could do. I opened our checking account online, $389.46. Our rent was $2,530. As the reality sank in, my phone lit up with a call from Jason's mother, Eleanor. Melissa, what have you done? She demanded. Jason says you're refusing to let him see Noah. I struggled to process her words. What? Jason just told me he's moving to Spain. He's cleaned out our accounts. Don't lie to me, she snapped. He showed me the text messages. You're threatening to keep Noah from him unless he pays you more alimony. As Eleanor continued her tirade, a sickening realization dawned. Jason wasn't just abandoning us. He was actively creating a fictional narrative where I was the villain. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about truth, justice, and my son's future. Jason and I met 5 years ago at a publishing conference. I was an editor at Horizon Books, he worked in marketing for a rival publisher. Within 6 months, we were married in a small ceremony overlooking the city skyline. The first years were good. We moved for my promotion to senior editor, and Jason found a marketing position at a local firm. We bought a modest condo, traveled occasionally, and planned for our future. When Noah was born 4 years ago, we agreed I would focus on motherhood while Jason's career supported us. I transitioned to freelance editing, working from home around Noah's schedule. The shift in our financial dynamic coincided with subtle changes in Jason's behavior. Small expenses would appear on our credit card without explanation. He began working later, citing the need to make up for your reduced income. His mother became more involved in our lives, often undermining my parenting decisions. Trust me, he would say. I've got everything under control. I did trust him, though doubts occasionally surfaced. Like when I discovered receipts for dinners on nights he claimed to be working late, or when he became defensive about his phone. 3 months ago, Jason announced a promotion that would require international travel. Around the same time, he mentioned Ashley, a new administrative assistant who was amazingly efficient at organizing his schedule. Last week, I found a European travel guide hidden in his desk drawer. When I asked about it, he laughed it off. I accepted his explanation, ignoring the slight tremor in his voice and the way his eyes didn't quite meet mine. That travel guide should have been my wake-up call. The day after Jason's text, I dropped Noah at daycare and headed to Jason's office. The receptionist's expression shifted to discomfort when I asked for him. I'm sorry, Mrs. Williams, but Jason no longer works here. He resigned last week. Last week? My voice sounded distant. That's impossible. He was here Monday. He submitted his resignation 2 weeks ago. Yesterday was his last day. 2 weeks. While I was planning meals and managing Noah's preschool applications, Jason had been orchestrating his escape. In the parking garage, I called Jason's closest friend, Michael. You knew, I said, realization dawning. You knew he was planning to leave. Michael's hesitation confirmed it. He made me promise not to say anything, said he needed a clean break. A clean break from his child? From 8 years of marriage? Ashley makes him happy. The words cut deep. I knew their relationship wasn't just professional, but hearing it confirmed transformed suspicion into humiliating certainty. Did he tell you he emptied our bank accounts? I asked. Michael's silence spoke volumes. Christ, Melissa, I had no idea he'd go that far. When I arrived home, a certified letter awaited me, a petition for divorce filed by Jason a week earlier, citing irreconcilable differences. The document listed his new address in Spain and requested that all parental rights remain with me, with no visitation or custody for him. He was legally abandoning Noah while portraying me as the one keeping them apart. Attached was a note from Jason's lawyer. Mr. Williams has indicated you have substantial savings to cover your needs. He will not be providing spousal or child support. I slumped onto the couch, documents scattered around me. Every aspect of our life together now appeared as a carefully constructed lie. My phone pinged with a message from Jason, landed in Spain. Don't try to contact me. My lawyer will handle everything. When the tears subsided, one thought remained clear: Jason had underestimated me. He had always underestimated me. 3 days after Jason's departure, I sat across from Olivia Aguilar, a divorce attorney recommended by a college friend. Let me be clear, she said after reviewing my documents. What your husband did is reprehensible, but not entirely illegal. Since you were married, he had legal access to those joint accounts. The good news is judges don't look kindly on this behavior. We can petition for emergency child support and potentially freeze any remaining assets. She leaned forward. What we need is proof that he's continuing to earn income while evading his responsibilities. That evening, desperate for short-term solutions, I called my parents. They immediately offered to cover my rent and basic expenses until the legal situation improved. With Noah safely tucked into bed, I searched Jason's abandoned desk. In the bottom drawer, I found a sealed envelope addressed to Eleanor. Inside was a birthday card and a handwritten note. Mom, thanks for helping with the Spanish apartment deposit. Ashley and I can't wait to show you our new place when you visit in May. We couldn't have made this happen without your support. Love, Jason. The date was from 3 months ago, around the time Jason first mentioned his promotion. Eleanor hadn't just known about his plans, she had financially supported them. In his email drafts folder on our shared computer, I discovered an unsent message to Ashley with an attached resume listing his new position at Meridian Global Barcelona, with a start date just 2 days after his text to me. Armed with this evidence, I met with Olivia again. This is exactly what we needed. We can file for emergency orders today: child support, freezing of marital assets, and potentially even an order for him to return. Hope flickered for the first time since Jason's text. The following day, I received a message from Jason's lawyer, an offer of $5,750 in full settlement of all claims. They're testing your desperation, Olivia advised. Don't engage. That night Jason messaged me directly: take the settlement, Melissa. You won't get more, and fighting will just drain what little I've offered. Be reasonable for once. His condescension ignited a quiet fury. I saved the message as evidence of his attitude. 2 days later, we secured an emergency hearing date. That same afternoon, Jennifer, Ashley's ex-roommate, called me unexpectedly. I thought you should know what they were planning, she said. Ashley's been talking about this for months, how they were going to start fresh in Spain without any baggage. She even bragged about how Jason was setting aside money where you couldn't touch it. Jennifer described conversations she'd overheard about offshore accounts and establishing residency in Spain specifically to complicate legal proceedings. They have a whole plan to make fighting them so expensive and difficult that you'll eventually give up. The morning of our emergency hearing, I woke to another text from Jason: I hear you're dragging Mom into this. Bad move, Melissa. Drop this now or I'll make sure you regret it. His threat strengthened my resolve. At the courthouse, Jason's lawyer emerged, a polished man in an expensive suit. Behind him appeared Eleanor, immaculately dressed and wearing her usual disapproving expression. You should be ashamed, she hissed. Trying to extort my son when you're the one who drove him away. Mrs. Williams, Olivia interjected smoothly, since you're here, I should inform you that we'll be calling you as a witness regarding your financial support of your son's abandonment of his family. Eleanor's face paled slightly. The hearing proceeded efficiently. The judge granted our emergency motions. Jason would be required to provide immediate child support and return a portion of the marital assets while the case proceeded. It felt like a significant victory, but Eleanor's unexpected appearance troubled me. Why had she flown across the ocean for a routine emergency hearing? The next day, I received a call from an unknown international number. Lucia Vega, HR Director at Meridian Global Barcelona. Mr. Williams was terminated yesterday due to an email sent from your name, showing his pending legal issues. I frowned. I didn't send any email. The realization hit me. Eleanor had impersonated me to sabotage Jason's employment, ensuring he couldn't comply with the court's support order. I immediately called Olivia. This is identity fraud and interference with a court order. Soon after, Jason called, furious. You got me fired after everything I offered you. It wasn't me. It was your mother. That's absurd. Why would she do that? To make you look unable to pay support. The documents attached were in my possession until your mother appeared at court. 10 minutes later, Jason sent me text messages between him and Eleanor revealing a disturbing truth. Once you're established in Spain, Eleanor had written months earlier, we can work on getting full custody of Noah. With Melissa's history of postpartum depression, we can make a case that she's unstable. My postpartum depression, which I'd fought through with therapy, had been weaponized against me. This wasn't just about Jason leaving, it was about eliminating me from Noah's life entirely. Olivia filed additional motions documenting Eleanor's identity fraud and the conspiracy to manipulate custody arrangements. I needed more evidence about Jason's hidden assets. Michael reluctantly provided information. He mentioned an account in the Cayman Islands. First Caribbean International, I think. I accessed Jason's cloud storage using his predictable password. Inside were transfer confirmations, correspondence about offshore accounts, even a document titled Custody Strategy, outlining their plan to paint me as an unstable mother. Olivia filed for emergency orders freezing the Cayman account, which the judge granted. Then Ashley called me. Jason's falling apart. He's flying back to confront you directly. Why are you telling me this? He's hiding money from me too. After the judge froze the Cayman account, he mentioned backup funds his mother doesn't even know about. What do you want, Ashley? Protection when Jason finds out I've talked to you. We arranged immunity for Ashley in exchange for documentation of all accounts. She sent bank statements showing a second account in Liechtenstein containing over $230,000. With this evidence, we secured an emergency restraining order before Jason's arrival. Airport security detained him upon landing. In court, Jason appeared disheveled and defensive, unprepared for our evidence, the offshore accounts, identity fraud, custody conspiracy, and Ashley's sworn statement. Your Honor, Olivia concluded, we request immediate return of all marital assets, full custody to my client, supervised visitation only for the father, and a forensic accounting of all hidden funds. The judge's ruling was comprehensive. All identified accounts were frozen. Jason's passport was confiscated. Temporary full custody was granted to me, and the district attorney would investigate potential criminal charges against both Jason and Eleanor. The days following brought mixed emotions. Eleanor called once after the hearing. This isn't over, Melissa. I've protected my son from people who would use him as a pawn. Don't contact me again unless it's through your attorney. Jason's visitation with Noah was limited to supervised sessions at a family center. Why doesn't Daddy live with us anymore? Noah asked one night. Daddy decided he wanted to live differently than we do, I said. But he still loves you. Does he not like us anymore? This isn't about you, sweetheart. Grown-ups sometimes make choices that are about themselves, not about the people they love. A month later, Ashley visited me with a USB drive. It's everything I saved, account information, recordings of phone calls with his mother. One recording caught my attention, a conversation between Jason and Eleanor. Once we get Noah to Spain, we can file for full custody, Eleanor was saying. What if she fights it? Jason asked. She won't have the resources. By next year, we'll have Noah permanently, and she'll be nothing but a distant memory. Olivia confirmed this was evidence of criminal conspiracy. The legal proceedings expanded. My parents stayed with us to provide stability. My mother finally voiced her concerns about Jason. There was always something about him that didn't quite ring true. "You're here now," I said, squeezing her hand. "That's what matters." I focused on rebuilding our life, establishing new routines for Noah as his therapist suggested. The evidence Ashley provided led to the discovery of a third offshore account in Singapore. In total, Jason had hidden nearly $290,000. Eleanor faced her own consequences: public scandal from identity fraud charges that shattered her social image. "She always talked about you like you were temporary," one of her friends confided. "Even at your wedding." As spring arrived, both Jason and Eleanor accepted plea deals. We finalized the divorce with me granted full legal custody and the majority of our marital assets, plus child support indexed to Jason's future earnings. "It's finally over," Olivia said as we left the courthouse. Yet as I picked up Noah that evening, I felt cautious hope emerging. We had something real, a bond forged in truth rather than deception. "Mommy, are we going to be okay now?" Noah asked at bedtime. "Yes, sweetheart. We're going to build something wonderful together, just you and me." Jason had underestimated not just me, but the resilience of the human spirit, its capacity to rebuild from ruins and find strength in broken places. In the months following the court's ruling, the full consequences of Jason's actions unfolded with a certain poetic justice. The forensic accounting uncovered not just our marital assets but additional funds Eleanor had hidden for tax purposes. Both faced civil penalties. In the months following the court's ruling, the full consequences of Jason's actions unfolded with a certain poetic justice. The forensic accounting uncovered not just our marital assets but additional funds Eleanor had hidden for tax purposes. Both faced civil penalties. Eleanor was also charged with identity fraud for impersonating me to Meridian Global. Jason's attempts to rebuild his life floundered as his industry reputation was tarnished by the public court records detailing his abandonment and financial dishonesty. The divorce finalized with terms heavily favoring me and Noah: full custody with Jason granted only supervised visitation, complete restoration of our marital assets plus legal fees, and substantial child support indexed to Jason's future earnings to prevent him from deliberately remaining underemployed. Most satisfying was watching Eleanor's carefully constructed social facade crumble when her country club friends discovered she had committed identity fraud to sabotage her own son's employment. The woman who had judged me for years now faced judgment from her peers. "How the mighty have fallen," my mother commented dryly when we saw Eleanor's name in a small newspaper article about her community service sentence. I felt no triumph, only a strange emptiness where anger had once burned. 6 months after Jason's text upended our lives, Noah and I moved into a small but comfortable condo purchased with the recovered funds. A home that was truly ours, with no shadows of betrayal. "Is Daddy ever coming to visit?" Noah asked as I tucked him into his new dinosaur-themed bedroom. "I don't know, sweetheart," I answered honestly. "But we're going to be okay either way." And we were. I returned to full-time editing with a publishing house that offered flexible hours for parents. Noah thrived in his new preschool. The acute pain of Jason's betrayal gradually transformed into something quieter, a hard-earned wisdom about resilience and self-reliance. My therapist had been right, focusing on rebuilding was the best path forward. Each small victory built upon the last, creating a foundation of stability that had once seemed impossible. "You've come so far," Olivia said when we met for coffee. "When I first met you, you were in shock. Now look at you." "I had good help," I replied. "And a good reason to fight." "Have you heard anything from Jason?" I shook my head. "Not since the final hearing. The district attorney's office confirmed he's back in Spain, violating the terms of his probation. There's a warrant out for his arrest if he ever returns to the U.S. And the supervised visitation? He never showed up, not once. Just sent his lawyer with a formal request to waive all parental rights and obligations." I tried to keep the bitterness from my voice for Noah's sake. "In a way, it's cleaner. No more disappointments, no more waiting by the window." "How's Noah handling it?" I sighed. "He still asks about his father sometimes, but less frequently now. Dr. Martinez says that's normal, he's adjusting to our new reality." And Eleanor? Still facing community service and social ostracism. She tried to contact me once, claiming she wanted to apologize, but I think she just wanted access to Noah. I declined. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Trust your instincts, Olivia advised. You've shown remarkably good judgment through all of this. I smiled, recognizing the truth. My instincts had been right about Jason all along, I just hadn't trusted them. Spring brought new growth, literally, as Noah and I planted a small container garden on our balcony. Tomatoes, herbs, and Noah's special project, a sunflower that soon towered over him. It's the tallest one ever. Noah exclaimed, standing on tiptoe. Our weekend park visits had become regular, often coinciding with Ben and Lily's schedule. What began as casual playground interactions evolved into planned outings, picnics, museum visits, a trip to the botanical gardens. Ben was easy to be around, thoughtful, patient, with a quiet humor. He understood grief and rebuilding, having navigated his own journey after losing his wife to cancer 3 years earlier. It gets easier, he told me as we watched the children feed ducks. Not because the loss gets smaller, but because you build more life around it. I'm not sure what I lost was ever real, I admitted. The marriage I thought I had was an illusion. That's its own kind of grief, he said. Mourning something you thought existed. Mommy, Noah said one Saturday, can Ben and Lily come over for dinner? I want to show Lily my dinosaur collection. I glanced at Ben, who smiled. We'd love to, if you're up for it. That dinner was the first of many. Noah and Lily formed a fast friendship. Ben and I moved slowly, both cautious after our respective experiences. He makes you smile, my mother observed during a visit. I like seeing that. We're just friends, I said automatically. She gave me a knowing look. For now, maybe. But it's nice to see you open to possibilities again. The final piece of my financial recovery came when the court ordered the release of the last offshore account Jason had hidden. The funds have been transferred to your account, Olivia informed me. That's everything. The financial aspects of your case are officially closed. With this final recovery, Noah's college fund was secure. We had a safety net. The financial anxiety that had been my constant companion finally began to recede. That same week, I received a notice from the International Enforcement Agency that had been tracking Jason's activities. He'd been caught trying to open yet another offshore account, violating multiple financial regulations. The penalties were severe, asset seizure, hefty fines, and a complete ban from working in the financial sector. There was a certain poetic justice in watching the carefully constructed life he'd abandoned us for crumble under the weight of his own actions. Jason's industry reputation was destroyed, his new relationship with Ashley had imploded when the money began to dry up, and according to Michael, who still called occasionally, weighted by guilt, Jason was now working at a tourist bar in Spain, struggling to make rent. I felt no triumph, only a distant pity and profound relief that Noah and I were free to build our lives without the shadow of his manipulation. 1 year after Jason's text upended our lives, Noah and I celebrated with a small party. My parents were there, along with Olivia, and of course, Ben and Lily. Speech? My father called as we finished the meal. I stood. A year ago, I thought my life was ending. Everything I'd planned seemed to collapse in a single moment. I looked around at the loving faces. What I didn't realize then was that it wasn't an ending at all. It was a beginning. I've learned that family isn't defined by legal documents or shared last names. It's defined by who stands with you when things fall apart, who helps you rebuild. I raised my glass. To all of you who helped us rebuild. And to new beginnings. To new beginnings, they echoed. Later, as the party wound down, Ben helped me clear the dishes. That was a lovely speech, he said. I meant every word, I replied. I know. He set down the dish towel. Melissa, I've been thinking. We've been taking things slowly, which has been right for us, for the kids. But I'd like to be more than just your friend. I'd like that too, I admitted. But I'm still cautious. I don't fully trust my judgment after Jason. That's understandable, he said. How about we continue taking it slowly, just with a clearer direction? And with complete honesty between us. I'd like that, I said again, meaning it. His smile was warm as he leaned forward, kissing me softly. It felt nothing like Jason's kisses, no performance, no hidden agenda, just genuine connection. They're kissing. Lily's voice broke the moment as she and Noah appeared in the doorway, giggling. Ben laughed. Yes, we are. Is that okay, with you two? The children exchanged glances. Does this mean we can have more playdates? Noah asked pragmatically. Definitely, I assured him. Then it's okay, he decided, Lily nodding in agreement. That night, after everyone had gone home and Noah was asleep, I stood in our living room, looking at the life we'd rebuilt. Photos of Noah line the walls, including newer ones, Noah and Lily at the botanical gardens, Noah with my father learning to fish, and one taken today, the four of us together, a new kind of family taking shape. I picked up my journal and turned to a blank page. 1 year ago, I received a text message that shattered my world. Moving to Spain with Ashley. I've transferred our savings to my private account. Good luck paying rent. At the time, those words felt like the end of everything. I saw only what I'd lost, security, my marriage, the future I'd planned. What I couldn't see then was what Noah and I would gain, authenticity, strength, true friendship, and a more honest understanding of what family means. While Jason continues his downward spiral, trapped in the consequences of his own choices, Noah and I have risen from the ashes of his betrayal. We've built something better, something real. I don't know what the future holds. Ben and I are taking things day by day. Noah is flourishing. For the first time in years, I'm making choices based on what I truly want, not what someone else expects of me. I closed the journal and watched Noah sleeping peacefully, his dinosaur clutch tight in his arms. Whatever challenges tomorrow might bring, we would face them together. Sometimes life's cruelest moments become unexpected catalysts for growth. Jason's parting text, "Good luck paying rent," was intended as a devastating final blow. Instead, it became the first line of a story about finding strength I never knew I possessed.